Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Yardmaster is a game that's been released in a couple different ways, and I think it had a little bit of an impact when it was released. What I found is a very light filler, very light, that moves rather quickly. And in the game, you're really collecting these railroad or cargo cars, and you're trading them in to get different ones that will build up your railroad and score you points based on the colors that they're associated with and the points that are listed on them. Very simple to play, very simple to teach, but I felt like it was so light. This is like the cotton candy of food this game would be to board games. It's just, there isn't a lot here. And that's okay sometimes. You don't mind something like that. But the theme also didn't pull us in. It was like this train theme. I understand because you're putting the cars together and it kind of works. But it wasn't anything that's like, wow, let's play Yardmaster again. And it just didn't kind of connect for us in any meaningful way. And the theme was kind of a turnoff for us and just didn't work in a family atmosphere that I think this game was intended to. Perhaps with a different theme, I think it might be elevated a little bit. I hate to say that, but it's probably the truth. The game itself gives you some decisions, but I wouldn't say they're overly interesting. I think there's a reason why this game kind of came out with a nice addition, had a magnetic box, and then you never hear about it anymore because it didn't have enough game in it to interest people. There was an express version that was even worse than this. I feel like this game was probably something that they may have expected people to purchase because it was a light filler and people liked those and it's cheap enough. But the gameplay wasn't going to keep people coming back for years. I think that's what we've experienced here. Yardmaster is a miss for us. I would almost like to see this as part of a larger game and have more attached to it. So right now, it's just too paper thin to have any kind of enjoyment for us, and it is a purge. So here is Yardmaster. Comes in a little box, very small. It has like a little train motif on the front. Get a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. Some advertisements, which I always appreciate these. I can go back and like, well, it came out in 2014, and maybe there's something in there I like to see. You're going to get these little tokens here. They're thick enough, and I think they do just fine for what you're doing in this game. As for the components in the game, I think everything fits in here pretty good. The cards have a nice linen finish to them. You got a couple expansions. But you can see, I mean, the artwork is just pretty plain, numbers and colors. If you're colorblind, there's different words on the bottom. I think these components are fine. It's a deck of cards. What are you going to do? Here is the rule book, which is pretty good. You got a picture of all the components set up, how many points you're playing to. You're going to have the rules here. This orange is a little weird to kind of see, but I think it works out just fine as you're going through. You got examples down here in the orange and plenty of pictures, as you can tell here. Goes an explanation of the bonus cards, etc. You're probably going to need 10 minutes. It's a pretty light filler. You won't need a lot of time in order to play this. The game is pretty easy. So what you're going to have here is you're going to have a engine everybody is going to start with. And you'll be building off of that engine. So say you put a card down next to it. The next card has to be the same color, like 1, or it has to be a number, the same number. So you can switch colors, kind of like Uno, but the number has to be the same. That's what you're building up. Now, based on number of players, you're going to be building up to a certain point total, and once you reach that point total, the game will end. Now, you're going to have these cargo cards, so on a turn, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to take the top card from this deck and add it to your hand, or if there's a card in the discard pile, you could possibly take this card and pick it up instead. As you gain these cards, you can turn these cards in for rail cards. So if you wanted to purchase this card, that would be fine. It could go in. You would just have to give up 1 of your yellow cards, giving up 1 because it has a 1 on it. If the card happened to have a 2 on it, you would have to give up 2 of these yellow cards, discarding them in order to take this. Now let's say your train is set up like this, and you picked up this yellow card, and you just purchased it by giving up the 2 cargo cards, you could put it immediately into your train. If it was set up like this, you couldn't because the color doesn't match and the numbers don't match. So this would go into your sorting area, and it would stay in your sorting area. Sorting area does not score for you at the end of the game. But at any point when you purchase a card, if you could put this in, like say the next card I buy is this, then I could take this from my sorting area and put it in. And that's how Yardmaster is going to work and play. You're going to be drawing these cargo cards to turn them in for rail cards. And you can play them in order, just like Uno, if the number or the color matches. So here's the first expansion pack, number 1. It's going to be the rules. It's a little hard to read the red on here with the white on the black, but these will tell you what all of these cards do. There's going to be 5 bonus cards. You just shuffle these right in, which is going to dilute the ratios a tad. This one allows you to buy a rail card. You still have to pay the price, so it basically is going to give you a free action. This will swap exchange tokens, so when you have these exchange tokens, it's another action you can take on your turn. This is going to give you that action for free. Swap rail cards. You can move rail cards around in your train, but all rules still have to apply, so it might give you a better placement later on. This is a wild caboose. It can be played at the end as a caboose. It's only worth 1 point, but it has to end the game. So you must have enough points because it has to be your last card. Sweep the Yard will take all the cards that are face up and give you 4 new ones to look at. Then these will just repeat as you go through. This is going to dilute it a little bit. I think that if you shuffle these in, you probably won't even notice they're in the deck. A lot of these are free actions. My big negative about this is the fact that if I'm getting a lot of free action, I randomly get these, I'm in a lot better position to win. So it can be a little bit luck infest about what you're doing here. They're fine. If you want to shuffle in, I would just assume play without them. Here's a Caboose expansion. These are the rules printed on black on gray, which is not fantastic. It's very easy at the beginning of the game. Everybody's going to get one of these in their sorting area. This must be the last card you play. So the idea is that if I have the green one, I'm kind of 2, they're all worth 2, that I'm going to be planning for that. Problem is the game doesn't have any long-term planning. So when you're going through, it's like, if this so happens to work out, then I'll be able to add this card. The components are good. Everything was printed at the same time. They got a nice finish on them, and they match in really well. But it just feels like a random thing. Like if you happen to have a 2 or a purple at the end, I guess you could try to plan for that the best that you could. But it's more tactical than it is strategic, I feel. It's a fine little expansion. If you wanted to throw it in there, I think it randomizes it and makes things a little bit more luck-based, but it's not going to kill the game for you if you like what else is going on. For me, I wouldn't add this in at all. Who should buy this game? I mean, if you really like trains or you really like light fillers, this may be interesting to you, but there are so many good light fillers out there like For Sale and other games that I can't imagine this being one of the top ones that you buy. If you see a bargain price on this, yeah, sure, this would be something you might want to pick up and play. You can play with non-gamers. That isn't a big thing for this, but I don't know if non-gamers are really interested in trains all that much, perhaps. But in that regard, the theme isn't going to draw people in. The gameplay isn't going to be anything that will be lasting effect for you. So for me, this might be a miss all the way around. It's definitely a purge for us.